Now, the signing into law of the four significant tax bills by President Bola Tinubu is the focus of our conversation today. These reforms, which coincide with the commemoration of MSME's Day, are designed to simplify tax administration, harmonize conflicting mandates, and drive economic growth beyond oil revenue. To discuss what these new laws mean for businesses, government revenue, and everyday taxpayers, I'm being joined by Mr. Olufemi Olarinde, head of the Fiscal and Tax Reforms Implementation Division and SA Tax Policy, to the Executive Chairman of FIRS. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Also in the studio is Mr. Kennedy Iwundu, a seasoned tax and economy expert. It's good to have you in the studio again, Mr. Iwundu.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Now, let's start with you, Mr. Olarinde. These four tax laws are described as landmark. From a policy standpoint, what makes them truly transformative?
Okay, thank you very much. I think I should start with, if you hear the president spoke there, he said we will help them get to their destination. And he was definitely talking about businesses in Nigeria. And we are talking about commemorating the World MSME Day. He was talking about businesses, small business, not being burdened with taxation. So he has a policy which he says we shall tax only the fruit and not the seed, and we will tax prosperity and not poverty. So saying we will help them get there means that since you are still struggling, you are striving, you embark on a journey to also support the economy, we will help you get there. And what has that policy translated into? Ensuring that businesses that are still striving do not need to pay taxes, even when they are not making, they are not prospering. So for me, the policy stand, like you've asked, is to enhance economic activities and especially MSMEs, so they could grow and become financiers of Nigeria. And that is the policy stand for this tax laws. Thank you.
All right, let me come to you, Mr. Iwundu. From an economic perspective, how do you think these reforms will help reposition Nigeria's fiscal structure for non-oil revenue generation?
Okay, thank you. The reforms is a landmark one. Previously, what we normally have is Finance Act that will only look at the legislation. But the reforms try to touch one of the tripods of taxation. And the tripods of taxation we're talking about is the tax legislation, tax administration, and tax jurisprudence. The reform is holistic and encompassing. In the reform look at the tax legislation. That's why we have the Nigerian Tax Act, where so many tax laws has been amended. The reforms also have the administration, tax administration, where you have the Nigerian Revenue Service and that of the Nigerian Tax Administration Act. And also the reform is looking at tax jurisprudence, where you have the Joint Revenue Service Board Act, where you have the Nigerian Tax Appeal Tribunal, and for the first time, the Office of the Ombudsman, where aggrieved taxpayers or even that of tax administrators can make complaints when there are infractions. So it is all-encompassing. And where we are enjoying or why we are rejoicing is that for companies now, if you have any company that have a turnover threshold of 50 million and below, is exempted from paying tax. And for individuals, a large number of individuals that are on just why the president say you don't need to tax poverty, you tax prosperity. So we are looking at government having that political way now to implement taxation of high network individuals. Now, high network individuals is among the principles of taxation that say collect the money from the rich for the benefit of the poor. If you go to the United States, you could go to UK, go to South Africa, you discover that the top rich contributes to almost 90% of total revenue collected in the country. So we believe that government will be out, beyond making the law, they have that political will to implement this taxation of high net worth individuals. We're so happy that the lower part of the people, citizens in the country, and also small and medium scale companies who have income in their hands, especially the lower class of people, will have more disposable income, so that at the end of the day, that's the prosperity we are talking about. And the more you earn the income, the more tax you pay. So it's a nice one for the government to have that political will to implement taxation of high net worth individuals.
Right. So how will the new laws directly support MSMEs in terms of reducing the burden and complexities of tax compliance? That goes to you, Mr. Olarinde.
Okay, thank you. So MSME is actually, like Mr. Kennedy, where he stopped right now. In our present law, if you have a threshold of 25 million naira and below, you are not to pay, you are exempted from income tax. So what the new law has done is to increase that threshold. So for MSMEs who have a turnover of less than 50 million and below, we pay tax at 0%. So for MSMEs now, you are allowed to grow. They can do businesses, grow, before they start thinking about tax, because tax is actually supposed to be a function of prosperity. When people have prospered, when business have prospered, that is when they say consequence of tax, which means share in your prosperity among every other person. So for MSMEs now, also another thing, when it comes to VAT collection, every company who makes supply, who is in economic activity, is appointed as an agent of government to collect VAT on every goods and services they supply. But for small businesses are now given reprieve not to collect such VAT. So what does that do to their business? It makes them more competitive than their other businesses that we collect. So people, we ordinarily want to go to them because they are not collecting VAT. For small, so if they stay in their small location, people come to them and they buy. And so it makes them improve their patronage until they now become as big, they get bigger, get beyond 50 million, and they start. And also, what have we done? We are also looking at, the law has also looked at major and basic things that people use, including the MSMEs. And it's saying, okay, for VAT, it's not going to 0% for them. And what we say, zero rated. And when it says zero rated, this simply means even when you have incurred in your production, you can claim such input even from if such goods is exempt or is zero rate if you don't collect. So all these provisions will make the business to be able to, we reduce the burden of tax on them, and so makes the business more competitive, and so they can grow. So when we so MSMEs are well catered for. There's also a provision what we call minimum tax provision for businesses that are growing. Before now or today, when businesses even make loss, they are to pay a tax called the minimum tax. So the law says, okay, bring a contribution. But now that has been expunged from the law. We don't have provision for minimum tax again. So small businesses can grow without paying tax from their capital.
All right. Now, the new Nigeria Revenue Service is replacing the Federal and Land Revenue Service and taking on a broader role, including collecting revenues from agencies like Customs and NIMASA. What does this mean for efficiency in revenue collection, and what frameworks are in place to ensure that it operates with greater transparency and efficiency than FIRS? That goes to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Oh, okay, you want Femi?
Okay, yeah, Mr. Olarinde.
Okay, you want me to take that? Yes. Okay. Well, when you talk about efficiency, I'm sure today Nigerians understand the efficiency of FIRS. We understand that Nigeria has moved from the brick and mortar era, and now we are business have digitalized, and so tax administration has actually also digitalized. So efficiency first is that you ensure that you understand the system and you have an automated system that will help you harness your revenue, so you don't do things manual ways that that causes leakages. And also, we still understand that there are still some traditional areas, and of course, we are also using the pattern or the model for those traditional areas. But these areas you are talking about are sophisticated area, which means FRS is ready. We are investing in technology, and we continue to invest. And even without the NRS, we've been ready. And so I'll tell you that FRS is well equipped, ready, and the management understand the implication. Don't forget that this bill has been in the offering for over a year. And of course, we started even before the planning. And so I'm sure that no matter what revenue FRS is going to be collecting, we understand that the agency has the primary mandate of collecting all revenue accruable to the Federation and to the federal government and every other agency the National Assembly may from time to time create and ask when it comes to revenue administration. So I'll tell you FRS is well equipped and ready.
All right, let me come to you now, Mr. Iwundu. Keeping VAT at 7.5% and exempting essentials like food, healthcare, and education feels like a lifeline for the average Nigerian. Now, how much do you think this will help families struggling with costs?
Okay, I want to say that Nigeria has a tax policy where we want to generate revenue from indirect taxes, transaction taxes, and reduce direct taxes, that's impact on the companies. And that was the reason why the committee wanted to take that VAT from 7.5% to 10%. As we speak, Nigeria is one of the countries that operate lowest VAT rate in the sub-region. But again, the argument for people is that it's not about increasing the VAT, but it's about the accountability of money being generated. Now, but again, what we are trying to say here is that many of those items that we are exempted, of course, we definitely don't have impact on the poor people. The basic food items, all those things listed, including the petroleum products and all that, it will go a long way to reduce the inflation. The people that argue that we shouldn't take the VAT to 10% are trying to prevent inflationary measure, because government is trying to see how they can get inflation to a single digit. So it's like you want to achieve a contractionary monetary policy, and you want to apply an expansionary fiscal policy. It will not work. And that's the reason why they say, no, don't take VAT from 7.5% to 10%. At the end of the day, by the time you are taking the VAT from 7.5% to 10%, you may fuel inflation in the country. Because remind you that even those people who consume basic food items that will not pay VAT, we also buy other items that they will spend money, like some clothes, some creams, perfumes and all that. So when they are trying to buy those things and it's expensive, what would they do? They will still go back to their own goods that are not VATable and increase the price so that they can generate more money to buy. It's a translational thing. So by and large, we are happy that VAT was not increased from 7.5% to 10% because of that apprehension that it will fuel inflation. But I'm sure that when we watch the economy grow, VAT will also be increased to 10% because Nigeria presently is collecting the lowest VAT in the sub-region. But by and large, what we're equally saying is the accountability. When this money is generated, the bulk of money is being sent to the 36 states of the Federation. So we want our governors to be accountable. We want the local government chairman to be accountable. And Nigerians, of course, will have to pay tax, but Nigerians also demand accountability. It's not about reporting how many trillions we have generated. We've generated 100 trillion, 200 trillion. But again, how does this money translate to the life of the people?
All right. So in what ways do you foresee these reforms improving investor confidence, especially among MSMEs? Briefly, sir.
Yeah, the reforms will improve investors' confidence because of the FIRS efficiency in tax collection. FIRS has improved tremendously, especially with the application of technology to drive tax collection and tax administration. We could remember those days we apply for tax clearance certificate. Sometimes we stay for months. For months, we can't get tax clearance certificate. But now you go online for a new company that is coming on board, you apply for tax clearance certificate, show the CAC documents, and in 1 or 2 days on your computer, you generate tax clearance certificate. That's a very good ease of doing business in the country. When you have permits, licenses, and that will easily be obtained for business to be done, it increases investors' confidence. We believe that the FIRS will also go further to use this ICT to increase the revenue collection and also ensuring that the right incentives are given to the investors in the country.
All right, Mr. Olarinde, some Nigerians are still pessimistic about the law. What can you say to allay their fears?
Okay, well, for me, and that is why we are here today, to continue to engage Nigerians. I'm sure there's no bill or the law that has received as much attention as this tax reform laws have received in the past almost a year now. We continue to engage. From our side at FRS, we have so many engagement activities, whether it's town hall, whether it's media, whether it's paper, snippets. We're doing all of that. We are also trying to ensure that we continue to speak to everyone and not just engaging, ensuring that our efficiency in things we do, like thank you, Mr. Kennedy, for those accolades. We continue to do that and to ensure that we'll deliver efficient service. And also, one thing is, I would like people to study the law. You know, this is one law that is pro-people. So by the time what you just start seeing there, government was supposed to even be more to have issue, because the few there are places where revenues may reduce. However, we believe that the efficiency of the system will enhance or expand the tax net and ultimately improve revenue. So people should not have any fear or any doubt about the tax laws, because they are pro-people and they are here to make Nigeria better for it. You know, there's something, you read something about the AFDB the other time. Right. But like I said, revenue of a nation is a reflection of the economy. And we know that as the economy becomes better, tax revenue also will become better. And I believe that's the hope of the president, and in doing this. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Olufemi Olarinde and Mr. Kennedy Iwundu, thank you, gentlemen, for sharing your perspective on the new tax law with us. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Great. Moving on, the Naira has a